Hey everyone, my name is Aaron King. I'm the research director for Foresight Institute. I'm here today to talk about the technology trees that we're developing. And as born out of a question, I'm concerned mostly about longevity. And one of the things that people ask is like, what is longevity specifically? And I'd really like to have an answer to this question. And in order to do so, we need to understand the entire field. We need to understand what concepts fall into the domain of longevity and what concepts do not. So in order to define longevity, we're building basically like a repository of key concepts and organizations, labs, companies that are working on various aspects of the technology itself, and we're trying to figure out how all these pieces of technology connect to each other. We want a detailed overview that you can get really deep into. It's going to be very accurate, but it's also something that's going to be accessible to people that are coming into the field. It is an overwhelming amount of information, but it can at least be presented in a non-overwhelming fashion. So the way that we're doing this is by building out these technology trees. And I think it's really cool concept. It's like an efficient graphical Wikipedia. And I think a lot of you have played Civilization or something like that, and you've seen something like this. And it's a very simple concept, right? You have early technologies that lead to later technologies and you unlock. And so we're trying to use this concept for figuring out how to map out all the different technology pieces within longevity. So I built this manual prototype, and then we're in the process right now of converting it into this digital dynamic tool that can have all sorts of information baked into the different nodes and subsections of the diagram. There's a couple really interesting features that I just wanted to cover very quickly. First one is instant literature review. This one's really cool. So basically what you do is whenever you have connections between ideas, you ask yourself, like, why is this idea connected to this other idea, right? So why do we believe this thing based upon this previous observation? And all those connections are defined in the broader academic sense by literature, by publications that come out of experiments that people have done that say, hey, look, I did this thing, and then this happened, and so I believe that this is the way that the world is. And we can map all those pieces of literature to connections on this tree, and then you can select a node, and with a one click, you can grab all of the upstream publications, bundle them together, and just sort of have them for yourself. And this is it takes months, possibly like years even, to do proper literature searches. And with this, you can just do like a one-click literature review, which would just take every source and have it all cleanly together for whatever project that you're working on. And you would know the entire train of thought that your new concept is built on. And you can go and I guess, review or assess the foundations of whatever your idea is built on. So I thought that was really cool. But we're here today to talk about Web3 and what Web3 can do in the context of these tech trees. And there's a lot of different applications, one of which is accountability in the term of retroactive value tracking. So what you look at with this diagram is that there's later publications or break discoveries that are built on earlier discoveries. And the way that you're supposed to monetize or derive value from this is that the number of citations of your paper should be huge if your paper is really important and other people are using it. And then you have to leverage that for either positions within academia or just some kind of clout or something that you then take several steps in order to turn into some kind of a revenue stream. It's possible using Web3 technologies to actually just directly reward pieces like prior discoveries based upon future discoveries, and to do so in an automated way. I don't know exactly how that would occur, but the tools are there, and I think it's kind of interesting to think about whether this could be done or not. Obviously, there's finance applications. When we go through and build these tech trees, we want to find out the bottlenecks. We want to find out what is stopping progress in any particular technology. And when we do find that out, we can have like just like a link or something within there that allows people to sort of dump effort and financial incentives onto solutions for that piece. Whether it comes in the form of like investments or bounties or some other decentralized incentive structure, there's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of tools out there within the Web3 space that can be used for this purpose. There's also governance possibilities. So when we try to decide what information to include and what relative importance to assign to any piece of technology within the whole sphere of longevity, there's different ways of doing that. There's a centralized way, which is that a couple experts can talk amongst themselves and figure the whole thing out and then claim that like they know what's going on. There's also decentralized ways of trying to have a whole bunch of people put in their expertise and build something from the ground up. There's different arguments to be made about which one is the best one. But there is room here for Web3 or DAO type governance concepts, but it just needs to be simple. What I've seen in the DAO space so far is just like a recreation of bureaucracy. It feels like a lot of people in the DAO space have a dream of turning the internet into the DMV, and that's just really annoying because just every single thing, like every tiny decision, just they layer on all these decisions. It's like just keep it simple, okay, guys. Don't overload the bureaucracy. Just we'll get there. All right. And then, okay, finally we have a contribution system for Web3. User interaction with the tech tree. We're going to have a commenting system. That's pretty easy to put in. But how do we allow for users to change this thing? How do we allow users to put in information? And how do we validate that kind of information? Decentralized data management is very similar to blockchain structure, I guess, in a certain way, in certain specific ways. So I think that there's also room here for using tools of Web3 for sort of a decentralized contribution system. So the Foresight Institute has multiple technology interests. Molecular machines, which is nanotechnology, which is the earliest thing that Foresight was founded on. Neurotech, space technology, intelligent cooperation, longevity, which is what I'm handling. We have tech tree leads for various different technology domains they're all building their own separate tech trees, and they're pretty awesome people. Yuaning Fang, Marina Polyakova, Romain Fontaine, Yingtong Lai. These people are very smart and very active, dedicated people. And they've come up with various other types of tech trees and structures. And so we'll see, each of these has kind of separate features that are interesting, and we'll see which ones sort of emerge from the natural selection as we go through and figure out which features of these tech trees are the most useful. I think that's about it. If you want to get involved, or if you think this is interesting at all, this is a QR code and also a link to, our website. Our website is just foresight.org, and yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for listening, and keep making the future happen.